I think that for those items that are standard, that we can, I think, hold down a lot of costs if we do some quantitative legislation in that regard. If you cannot provide an actual price, an actual number, X million pesos for 1 kilometer of road, what you can possibly do is you can make a formula of some kind, and that formula will go to the formula will go to whoever is going to be building the road, and we will apply the certain elements of that formula, which is to say that the cost of cement is this much, the cost of fuel is this much, the amount that you pay the engineers is this much, etc., etc. And from that, you can, that formula, the numbers, will actually move according to market forces. So it's a little bit complicated, and it requires a great deal of study, but it's something that, as I said, is being used in places like India, is being used in places like in the Indian subcontinent, dyan nabuhay yan, and quite successfully. So I think it bears looking into. So that's one practical solution. The other practical solution, as I said, is basically to continue to prosecute anyone who is found to be with their hand in the till. And as I said, we've seen so many investigations, exposés where people have actually been exposed already, and it has been proven in everybody's mind, but they have not been tried and they have not been prosecuted, and some of them have even been rewarded for doing the dirty job of government. So if that's the culture, no matter what you do, so we have to change the culture first, then we put in whatever methods we can dream up, we can think up to make it a little bit more make procurement a little bit more standardized than it is now.
Okay, I'd
just like to follow up on the moral, on the corruption, because your father was also, I mean, among the fight against corruption, would you have the moral ascendancy to fight it? I mean, based on the history that we got that time.
Well, for one thing, none of the accusations made against my father were ever proven. Number one, because they're not true. Number two, nothing, at no point in my political career have I ever been under suspicion for any wrongdoing. So I have every right to talk about it.
Okay, I'll just get back to you later. There are other questions coming, but I want to give a chance to other bloggers first.
Sure, of course.
who's next?
Carlos.
No, maybe.
He has a mic.
Some people are saying that there are the service contradictions. That's what my daddy said. There are the service contradictions. Some people say that being a Marcos is a negative thing for the campaign. What's your reaction to that? Pero obviously, I said, this is a service. You're doing well.
Actually, madalas ako na matanungan yan. And I have to think really, really hard. Because nag-iisip ako ng instance na ang pakiramdam ko naging disadvantage yung pagka-Marcos ko. And I cannot think of one. I cannot think of one instance where I can say, kung di lang ako Marcos, mas magandang takbo nung ano man yung ginawa ko. And quite the contrary. Madalas, I come away from an event or a meeting or some kind of interaction with people, with politicians. And I think, after it's done, pag nag-iisip ka, iniisip ko, sabi ko, napakaswerte ko naman na napanganak akong Ferdinand Marcos dahil ang daming kaya kong gawin, ang daming mga mangyayari sa akin, ang daming nagbibigay ng tulong, ang daming nagsusuporta, na hindi magbibigay ng ganyang klaseng tulong, suporta, dahil hindi man makikinig sa iyo kung hindi ka Ferdinand Marcos. Kaya at least in my experience, it's very, very, very clear that those are that it has been an advantage. Ngayon, siyempre, the usual question that follows that is that what about all the people who opposed your father? Kung hindi ka anak ng tatay mo, they wouldn't oppose you. But now, since you're the anak, they will oppose you now. So that's a disadvantage. Well, not really, because no matter what you do in politics, you will have opposition. So that's a natural, expected na yun eh. So the fact that I have opposition just makes me the same as everyone else. But the fact that I have people I can run to, people I can expect help from, people who offer their help, people who have a history with my father, both in politics, both as a personal, as an individual, and as a politician, and as their president. That all of those assets, opportunities, potentials would simply not be available to other people. So I consider it to be a huge advantage. I consider myself to be very, very lucky that I was born Ferdinand Marcos.
You can always count on support from him.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we are helping each other in the...
Ay, daw sabi ni Tita Dulce, thanks.
I know. Tell her hello. We're always together. When you watch us on stage, kami yung nakatabi lagi nagbubungis-ngisan.
Hayden sabi ni Estelle.
No, she's fantastic. Isa pa yan. She's great. The first time, where were we?
Sa Baguio daw?
Sa?
Baguio.
No, meron. That was before. That was after. Yung first niyang labas. She was sitting next to me. Ako, sino ito? Anak ni Tutsyan, ganun. This is Estelle, hi, hello, ganyan. Then I held her hand, nanlalamig yung kamay niya. Kasi it was the first time she was going. But when the girl stood up, she spoke like a pro, you know? Sabi ko, why are you nervous? Kayang-kaya mo. Walang problema. This is the same during our proclamation rally. She was so nervous. When she stood up and spoke, I dare say she gave the best speech of any of us. She spoke very well. And so that's why we seem to agree on many things, and we have always something to talk about and to giggle about. So we're always together in our sorties.
Okay. May follow-up ka doon, Carla? May follow-up si Sai.
Sir, do you think what's happening right now, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the second time that you run for senator. I voted for you the first time, and I still vote for you again. Do you think it's now the time that generally the Filipinos are beginning to look at what happened in 1986 on another perspective?
Well, to begin with, I think when I ran in '95, you have to remember, and I have to apologize to you who have voted for me, that your votes weren't counted. Because if you remember, that was the election where Dagdag Bawas was invented. We never heard of the term Dagdag Bawas until the 1995 election. And so there was a very clear effort. In fact, we have identified the effort. We identified the operation, in fact, that was made against me to make sure that I didn't get into the Senate. And so, but you know, I'm not whining. What I'm saying is that it's part of the political game, unfortunately. And at that time, we didn't have a handle on it. We weren't able to oppose it because those who were very powerful at the time were very adamant that I do not win a Senate seat. Those people are no longer around. Those people are no longer working against me in the same way